Doubling and halving, using strategies to double or half a number. What are they? Double is multiplying by 2 and half is dividing by 2. Why? To learn different methods to attack a problem. An interesting fact is dolphins can overcome sleep deprivation and remain constantly vigilant for days at a time by resting one half of their brain while the other half remains conscious. Okay, let's talk about it. These are all mental strategies, so you should be hopefully doing them in your head. If you have to write them down to get going, that's fine. Then you can work your way up to doing only mentally. There are we're going to go over two methods because you already know how to do it on paper. So we're going to talk about the expansion method and the add method. Both of these methods work every single time, but sometimes one is better than the other. But if you feel comfortable with only using one method, that is perfectly okay. You do which one you think is the easiest. So let's take a look at this first example. Let's talk about the expansion method. So we do 30 plus 8. So then we do 2 times 8, which is 16. 2 times 30 is 60. We add them together to 76. Now for the add method, you want to add a number to make it easier in your head. I think adding 2 to 40 gives me, 2 to 38 to get 40 is easy. 40 is easier to multiply in your head. So 40 times 2 is 80. Now we use that 2 that we added to 38 and we multiply it by 2 to get 4. And now we're going to, since we add, now we have to subtract. So we get 80 minus 4, which is 76. So and then we move it over. And my final answer is 76. Now we have two more examples of doubling, and then we're going to do some halving. So let's go ahead and expand. You can expand however you want, but I think expanding like this is a little bit easier than the other way, but it's up to you. 4 times 2 is 8. 140 times 2 is 280, and you get 288. What number do you think would be easy to do the add method? If you think 6, that is one easy method. You can obviously choose a different number. We multiply that and we get 300. We have to multiply 6 by 2 to get 12. And now we have to subtract the numbers in your head to get 288. And we move it over. And our final answer is 288. Let's take a look at the third example for doubling. Let's go ahead and expand it. In this case, we have 2 times 9, which is 18. Then we do 170 times 2, which is 340. Add them together and you get 358. I think the easiest number to add this, to do the add method, is to go ahead and just add 1 to get 180. So we multiply that by 2 to get 360. Use that 1 and multiply it by 2 to get 2. And now we subtract the numbers to get 360 minus 2, which equals 358. Move it over, and then your final answer is 358. Take a look about halving. Okay, so same rules apply. You may want to use the normal method, or you want to use the expansion method or the add method. Now let's talk about the expansion method. So we do 90 plus 6. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 90 divided by 2 is 45. We combine to get 48. Let's talk about the add method. So we are going to add 4 to get 100 because 100 should be quite easy to divide by 2, which is 50. Now we have to do the number 4 divided by 2 to get 2. Now we have to subtract that and you get 48. Once again, this should be mentally, but if you have to write it down to start the process, that's okay. Then you can work your way up to mentally, so it's not a big deal. Let's take a look at the 48, move it over, and your final answer is 48. Let's take a look at example 2. So if we talk about the expansion method, we separated 132. I separated it into the hundreds because anything 100 should be easier to divide by 2 than not. So 32 divided by 2, 16. 100 divided by 2, 50. Combined to 66. Now, if you're going to do add method, multiple ways to do it, but I'm going to add 8. If you picked 8 as well, that's good for you. If you picked another number, it's okay. So we get 70. Now we have to use the 8 divided by 2 to get 4. Now we subtract the two numbers to get 66. Move it over, and your final answer is 66. Let's take a look at the final example. 386 divided by 2. We use the expansion method. 300 plus 86 divided by 2. So 86 divided by 2 is 43. 300 divided by 2 is 150. And we combine them to get 193. Okay, I'm going to think about, let's see if we get the same number for add. I'm going to add 14. Why? Because 400 is easier to divide by 2 than 390. And we get 200. And now we do 14 divided by 2, which is 7. And then we subtract the two numbers and we get 193. Move it over, and of course your answer is 193. Now it's your turn. You can use whatever method you like. Okay, I'm going to show the answers in 3 seconds, so go ahead and pause the video. And 3, 2, and 1. Here are your answers. So if you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there's always tomorrow.